The UC Riverside women's soccer team is coming off its most successful season in 8 years, advancing to the Big West Conference Championship match where they battled Cal State Fullerton to a 1-1 tie before falling in penalty kicks. We sat down with head coach Nat Gonzalez to find out what the Highlanders have planned for us in 2014. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Looking back to 2013, it was really a tale of two seasons for the Highlanders. Talk first about your expectations heading into the season, and then how things played out during the non-conference portion of your schedule.
We were young. We had anywhere from 12 to 14 freshmen coming in last year, so I thought getting them up to speed was going to be the biggest challenge. We had a group of sophomores that were ready to improve on what they had learned the season previous. So the expectations, honestly, were it was just to see how quickly the freshmen could get up to speed.
Well, the Highlanders flipped a switch after non-conference play, winning their first two matches in conference. What happened between non-conference and conference play to make the season as successful as it was?
Once we figured out who we had in regards to the freshmen, we started to, I believe it was Gonzaga and Tulsa game, which was probably like 7-8 games into our non-conference, where we started to kind of change a little bit of how we played. We were a little bit more aggressive. We used some of our girls' strengths as far as their athleticism and getting in the opponent's faces. So that started to transform itself, and then by the time we hit our conference with Hawaii and Northridge, those first two games, we had just started to kind of get into a groove, and it was still a work in progress, but you never know how quickly those freshmen gravitate to it and get it, and it was very fun to watch them get it mid-season. There was enough of them, 5-6 of them, that played a lot of minutes towards the end that it was about mid-year that they started to understand and grasp the concepts.
Well, you secured the number 3 seed in the conference tournament with a season-ending win at Long Beach State. What did you tell your players heading into the tournament?
Just to enjoy it, because obviously the program hadn't seen that in a while, so I just told them to take it one game at a time, and going into the Long Beach game, we had a run of about 3-4 games of only having to win one more game to secure that tournament spot. So it was a little stressful. So once we got into the tournament, we already had been there. We had already felt the pressure of having to just win one game. And then getting it against Long Beach State at Long Beach State was a huge confidence boost. So going into Irvine, we already felt the pressure of having to win just one game. So going to that Irvine game was, they were confident, and we were down a goal, and their confidence was enough to that they just understood that it was just going to be a matter of time before we turned that game around.
Well, you were down a goal in the match against UC Irvine conference semifinals, but you tied it on a Danielle Giltner penalty kick in the 73rd minute, and then won it in the second overtime on a rather unusual play as Andrea Morales saved the ball from going over the end line and Kelly Velasquez punched it home for the game winner. As you were watching that play develop, what was going through your mind?
Just all the work that we put in all year. It's funny that not only that play, but the play that actually tied the game up against Fullerton, the game following, it was almost exact the same. The ball was going out. Just our will to finish the play and not give up. Both of those plays were kind of the same kind of situation where Dre didn't give up on it. She got it end line, and Kelly, who's a defender, trusted the fact that the ball was going to come across goal, and she made probably about a 30 to 40 yard run to get herself into that goal scoring spot.
Well, then you play Fullerton in the championship match, tie them 1-1, but penalty kicks, the Titans advance. Obviously disappointed whenever you lose that last match of a season, but what's the takeaway from those players who returned this year, because it was an incredibly successful campaign?
Yeah, I mean, when I say we're 2 kicks away from getting to the NCAA tournament, it really is true. I mean, a lot of times that's used in cliche. We're confident. I mean, we're in a position now to sustain what we did last year. Our biggest goal this year was to not be complacent and be happy with it. I think we've got 2 or 3 seniors this year that have now achieved something that they hadn't achieved prior to, and now the next step is, can we get them into the NCAA tournament? And we were so young last year with all underclassmen starting that whole tournament that hopefully that experience can kind of carry us on into this year.
All right, well, let's take a look at 2014 and take a look at the roster. On the offensive side of the ball, you return a number of your top scorers from a year ago. Who do you see as your primary offensive weapons in 2014?
Well, Selena's always a problem for teams, and she doesn't show it in stats, but I think with her ability to get around opponents and get end line, I think Tyler's going to take advantage of that. I think she's a year older. She's got 5 goals last year. We're expecting, hopefully for her to get 3 to 4 more. We had the addition of a UCLA transfer in Taylor Dragoo. We're hoping that combination with Taylor and Tyler up top that we're able to take advantage of Selena's ability to get end line, and then obviously Brittany Mata on one side and Alexa Bustamante on the other side as well up top, creating balls and creating service for them to score goals.
How about on the defensive side? Who do you expect to serve as the penultimate line of defense before your keepers get into the action?
That's still a work in progress. We've had a couple things going on to where that back line has not been a constant. Shelly Brumbaugh is going to be coming back for us this year. She'll probably be in the back line. We've got a couple freshmen we're looking at in Christina Tucker. Amber Morani is a true midfielder, but in our run last year, she played as a center back. It looks like that she's probably going to be able to do that for us. And in the outsides, we've got Kelly Velasquez, Alina Cheatham, and Bree Thomason, who are pretty much the staples of the back line, which is kind of funny because they're out wide. Typically, it's center backs that are, but they've held their spots and they do a great job for us defending and getting forward. And in our midfield, which is where a lot of our defensive pressure starts from, we've got Blanca Barrio, transfer from South Carolina State, who we think gives us not only quality on the ball, but obviously her work rate's very good. And we got Danny Lopez and Sammy Ariana as well.
Elizabeth Silas was your primary keeper a year ago. How has she looked this preseason, and what does the rest of the goalkeeping core look like?
Silas is confident. I mean, obviously going through that run, she learned a lot, having to go through a program that's kind of was trying to find its way, and it did at the end. This year she came into camp a lot more confident, knowing what the job is. Nicole Regano has improved as well, and so she'll be pushing Elizabeth Silas as well. And Alana Guzman will be there for us in case we need her. But Elizabeth Silas, her biggest thing for me was confidence and just doing the right things more consistently. And I think last year gave her the confidence, and now I think we can start kind of getting some details taken care of with her.
Well, certainly some different expectations this season, I would think, coming off of last year's conference season. What are your expectations for the team as a coaching staff, and how do you see the Big West playing out overall this year?
I mean, based off what we did last year, coming in third, I mean, with as young as we were, I would expect us to be in one of those top 4 spots again. How that's going to shake out, I don't know, because obviously every other team has improved as well. But I just think for what we did, for how young we were, if we're not top 4, it'd probably be a disappointing season, especially with some of the additions that we got and the maturity that's happened.
Well, finally, Coach, come November, if the Highlanders are hoisting the conference championship trophy and preparing for a first-round NCAA tournament match, what are the things that have happened along the way to make that a reality?
It's been hard work. I mean, the girls see this interview, they're going to know it's been a long journey. They've worked hard, but at the end of the day, they are a tight group. They've worked hard for each other. They worked hard for the staff. It's not always fun, but they know that it's championships aren't easy, and we're right there, and I'm just really excited for them to show the maturity, because the work rate's going to be there. It's the maturity of the details that's going to probably put us over the top this year.
Well, thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck this season. We'll see you at the home opener in early September and hopefully well into November during the conference tournament and the NCAAs.
Thanks.